to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about what is an au pair, and then specifically in America because I've been an au pair there, and just talk about what you do, schedule, pay, and how it works with traveling. What is an au pair? So as an au pair, you live with a host family, you look after their kids, help with like the household chores that come along with the kids. You also in America have to do an educational component. So for my agency it was 72 hours of educational stuff, which I won't talk too much about right now, but I could make a different video about that if you would like me to, so just leave that in the comments. Yeah, so as an au pair you look after the kids, so you work a maximum of 45 hours a week, maximum of 10 hours a day. You have 1 day and a half off a week and a full weekend every month. So what you do, in my case, I looked after twins and they were babies when I started. So basically what I did, the dad went to work at 9:30, so I would do everything from feeding them, taking them to the park, getting them down for naps, washing their diapers because they were cloth diapers, changing them, taking to activities, and all that stuff. I would usually also work one Saturday evening. Every 3 weeks I would work the Saturday nights so that parents could go on a date night, where I would bath them, put them to bed, and all that stuff. So I feel like a lot of times people think it's just an easy job and it's just easier to travel that way, but there's just one thing: do not become an au pair if you hate kids. It's not gonna work because you live with them. They're there all the time. Even if you're off, you're not really off, I guess. I guess it's easier if the kids are older, but because mine was so small, they wouldn't understand if it was my day off. So as soon as I would walk into the living room, they would be clinging on to me, which I didn't mind, but if you hate kids, that will probably bother you. Yeah, so mine were 4 months when I started, and they were 2. Yeah, I left a month after they turned 2. So I'll put a picture of them right there. And yeah, so they were 2 when I left. So you get to deal with all the tantrums, I guess with older kids, tantrums, older kid homework, which I didn't have to deal with, but homework, they probably won't want to listen to you. You have to discipline them, and it's not as easy as people make it seem to be. I feel like for me it was probably easier because I've been with them since they were 4 months, so they knew me and they didn't know any better. But if you have older kids that are like 10 years old and you're like their 6th or their 7th au pair, then you might be up for a challenge. Like, this doesn't always have to be the case, but you know, they might miss the last au pair, they might not want au pair, they might be upset that the parents aren't there, so that makes it a lot harder. So the work hours, I work 9:30 till 5:30, 5 days a week, and then for 3 weeks I would work the Saturday night from 6 to 11, and then I would have 1 full weekend off a month. Basically for me in my free time, they let me do whatever I wanted to. I didn't have a curfew, which some families do have. Yeah, like I could come home if I wanted to at like 3 a.m. on a weekday, as long as I was fine to work the next morning, which I never did, but I could have. Yeah, like they would invite me to come with them on weekends if they would go somewhere, and sometimes I would go with them, sometimes I would stay home, sometimes I would go hang out, do something with my friends. Which brings me to the next part: vacation and traveling. So I think there's a big misconception that as an au pair you have all this time to travel, but especially in America you don't really. You have 2 full weeks off per year, and that's it. So if you want to do a lot of big trips, it's hard to fit in those 2 weeks. So what I sometimes would do was I would want to go somewhere for like 5 days, so I would take my weekend off and then stick on a Friday and a Monday and a Tuesday, for example. So then I used 3 of my 2 weeks and the full weekend that I already had anyway. So that's how I used to do it. If your family goes on a holiday, you can come with them and work. Well, for me, I went with them twice for Christmas, and I was working, but it didn't really feel like working to me. Like, we went to their family's house, and all the family members wanted to look after the kids too, so it was kind of a holiday for me as well. But yeah, so you either go on a holiday with them and you just work, or for example for Christmas, if you want to have your day off, you need to talk to the family if that's okay with them. But if that, then you count that for your 2 weeks. So the general rule, which I understand, would be that one of the weeks of your 2 weeks the family decides and you can decide the other week. But for me it wasn't like the family would be like, yeah, you have to have your days off then. So we would just kind of like see when they wanted to go somewhere. Or so in my second year I used all my vacation days already, but then they went to Spain for 4 weeks and I couldn't come with them, so I had like those weeks off and I was just at the house and like kind of looking after the house. So that's a way to do it. Yeah, you get paid $195 a week as a normal au pair. So you have an educare au pair where you get paid less and you work less, or an expert au pair where you get paid more because of qualifications, but I won't go into that now. Yeah, so you get paid $195 a week, which is not a lot if you want to travel and you want to save money and you want to hang out with your friends, because you live with your boss. So it can be quite difficult to invite friends at your house. Like, I was allowed to, but I didn't do it that often. So you could, like, some families don't want you to bring anyone over. That's another thing. But yeah, so if you don't want to bring your friends over, where do you go? You go have coffee, you go have dinner, you go to a movie, and $195 is gone really quickly if you do that like every day. So yeah, it's not as easy peasy as people make it seem. Like, you get pooed on, puked on, probably get hit, bit, and all that stuff. Especially if you have small kids, like, they need to learn everything. So, but I loved it. But you really need to love being around kids, because it's not gonna work otherwise. Yeah, I think that were the main points I want to talk about today. If you have any other specific questions or specific au pair topics you want me to talk about, just leave them in the comments below, or follow me on Instagram, ask me questions there, or Facebook, or you can send me an email. Yeah, please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Have a good day. Bye. Two little monkeys were jumping on the bed. One fell down and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor.